What's up, everybody? Welcome to ForbiddenFM. That's right. We're here. We're here to beat for the Democrats right now.
Time zone. And it was clear to me and to you and to everyone out there that one of these candidates was going to win this primary. Our decision desk could not call it. We will not call any race while there are still counties where the polls have not closed. So keep that in mind for the next hour here in Michigan. We are going to have the first of our News Now hits in 30 seconds. So we'll give you a quick read on how that.
So, we have some stuff to recap. information about the candidates. I wanted to watch the post-debate reaction videos after the recent debate last week because it's pretty interesting. It's interesting how fired up El Sayed gets, and also how just corporate Haley Stevens sounds. Yeah, I mean, it's just like shocking how bad she is as a candidate. Like, I don't know. Sorry, I'm still getting some stuff set up. I was a little late to this. Why it signs me out of my shit all the time whenever I use this thing. Okay. You've got to be fucking joking. This thing is crazy. Okay, there we go. Good lord. I enter my login like 3 times. Do not want to use a pass key. All right. Alrighty. See any polls come in? Mike Rogers is doing well. He's at 0 votes. Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty nuts race, just because there's been obviously the $60 million of outside corporate spending for Haley Stevens. It really is an election of, would you rather have a man for the people or have a corporate stooge as your representative in the Senate? All right, let's get to those. Oh, there we go. We got some. We got some votes in already. 4,100 votes to 2,800. Abdul Sayed to Haley Stevens. Mallory McMorrow. McMorrow picking up a few votes. What part is this from? Oh, this is from Kent County. These are the only votes to come in so far. Wow. Already early on, a decent lead for El Sayed. Oh yeah, baby. Let's watch their post-debate reactions, because I just want to show. Didn't mean to show all that. Didn't mean to show all the research I did. Oh, I just want to show like just how different their responses are post-debate performance, which that was arguably like one of the worst performances Haley Stevens had so far. Clearly Israel didn't come to her in her dreams that night to give her prep for that debate. But I just want to show you the responses that they gave after their debate and how they thought they did, because it's really telling of what kind of campaign that they're running here. Get those pulled up. Any day now.
Won't answer about it, won't give us the full details about who's funding him, and this is such a serious election. This is a toss-up seat for November, and now I've got a proven track record of beating Republicans, and I'm also so committed to our process. I signed up for this race knowing it would be a big one, and that's what public service is all about for me. I had a fully paralyzed veteran at the start of last year when he saw Elon Musk with a chainsaw asking if he was still going to get his benefit check. I mean, now's not the time to be comfortable. I'm leaning in and I'm fighting, and I am darn proud of making sure that Michiganders are going to be heard in the halls of power when I get to the United States Senate.
Will we see campaign finance reform if you are elected?
Absolutely, because I have already reached across the aisle. I have voted consistently, and I'm
And
outraged.
I've taken $60 million in my campaign from corporate PAC money.
$14 million from supposedly Meta's super PAC, $36 million from APAC. But yeah, sure, I'll vote against my own campaign interests.
As the only
Trust me.
non-millionaire in this race, that Mike
would've done
Rogers
it by
isn't going
now.
to do anything
He's literally
to deal
representative.
with campaign finance reform. Again, A grading from the leading campaign finance reform organization, End Citizens United, endorsed by Defend the Vote. I'm working with voting rights groups across Michigan on this front. Our voters of color in particular being tormented by Donald Trump's threats. It wasn't just enough to go to Huntington Place and bang down the doors and create all that chaos. Now they're threatening to send the DOJ out here. This is why one of our leading advocates, Attorney General Dana Nessel, this is why she endorsed my candidacy, right? This is someone who is a proven fighter for Michigan in this moment, and she sees that in me for the United States Senate.
Congresswoman, how would this race look different if the campaign finance reform you espouse was actually in place? Would there be less outside spending if the campaign finance reforms you've supported were law right now?
Yeah, and certainly that super PAC that Abdul's father-in-law is funding, that is worth millions of dollars, that also has a federal election complaint, probably wouldn't exist either. Look,
What?
PAC that Abdul's father-in-law is funding, that is worth millions of dollars, that also has
This is the big difference between what Haley Stevens has been taking in terms of money and Abdul El-Sayed. And it's the fact that his father-in-law is not asking El-Sayed to pass bills. He's not giving him that money with the promise of like, you're going to pass the give every father-in-law beer, a 6-pack of beer bill, aren't you? I mean, that's not what he's doing. He's just funding his son-in-law's campaign to some extent, which I would say is somewhat normal. I prefer that over Israel's foreign loophole PAC to avoid Farah donating $36 million to her, and then Meta's super PAC, A Stronger Michigan, coming in and donating another, I think it's actually $16 million now. I'd much rather his father-in-law be donating to him than fucking, the Legion of Doom funding her campaign.
a federal election complaint, probably wouldn't exist either. Look, when I first ran for Congress, the only outside spending came in the general election,
Sausage and
and
mashed potatoes.
it was the party committees. I am
This shit has a better chance of
public
winning the election
servant
than she
who puts
does.
up my hand to run. I think these laws are broken. I think they are outrageous. I think everybody should say and get on board, particularly these Republicans, but we know they won't do it. I mean, how do you think Trump got into office? Courtesy of Elon Musk and a dark money pact. Look, that's not going to work for us. We got to overhaul the whole darn thing. We got to be, maybe changing how the bills are
freaking
introduced
thing,
in the House and the Senate. I am just as frustrated as every Michigander. And I also really believe that we've got to stop the self-enrichment. These two go hand in hand. Why is Donald Trump and J.D.
counties in so
Vance, the
far.
vice president, why are they trading stocks while they're sitting in these offices? It's not
Obviously,
right.
they're still counting
Congresswoman, you said today you didn't take money from utilities, but you got checks from consumers in DTE a month before you entered the Senate race.
Yeah,
Can you
he asked
explain-
specifically about the Senate race.
It
And
was
look,
transferred to your Senate committee, I believe.
he just asked about my current campaign. Yes, yeah. Stop tax while they're sitting in these offices. It's not right.
Congresswoman, you said today you didn't take money from utilities, but you got checks from consumers and DTE a month before you entered the Senate race.
Yeah,
You
he
just,
asked specifically about the Senate race.
It
And
was
look,
transferred to your Senate committee, I believe.
Yeah, he just asked about my current campaign.
What?
Yeah, Sam, did you have something?
Will you take donations from consumers and DTE if you
Look, I'm
win
gonna.
place in the Senate?
Look, I'm running to beat Mike Rogers.
Wow.
And in you.
Way to avoid the question. She's like, oh yeah, I only accepted that money before I started my campaign. We're talking about my campaign here. Oh, okay. Yeah, time and space didn't exist before this campaign started. A similar logic that these people use, these types of politicians use, when it comes to the current genocide in Gaza. Oh, history started on October 7th, and nothing happened prior to that. Similar logic.
You heard tonight my opponent, make all these wild accusations talking about how employee monies that come from corporations are the root of the problem, except I'm leading the charge to take on DTE right now. I am leading the charge to say that you are screwing over your ratepayers, and I am going to strip your federal funds and force you to cut executive pay. I think that is damn good for the people of Michigan and what they need right now.
But will you
Thank
take
you,
money
thank you,
from
thank
them?
you.
You're not answering.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to get to the United States Senate. Like, you can keep pushing me.
Thank you. Oh my God. This is such a bad look for her. Like, avoiding the question, trying to trample over her when she's trying to ask her to actually answer the question, and then being like, look, lady, I don't give a fuck about your question. I'm just trying to get to the Senate, goddammit. Not a good look, bro.
Need right now.
But will you
Thank
take
you,
money
thank you,
from them?
thank you.
You're not answering.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to get to the United States Senate. Like, you can keep pushing me. I have no idea, if we're going to be able to do these major reforms. But what I want to see us get these reforms done. I want to bend,
Classic Democrat,
the
bro.
way in which these.
Look, I'm promising a lot of crazy shit. Not really in her case, but look, I'm promising a lot of revolutionary shit. But I can't guarantee I'll actually be able to do it. Already setting up her own, tenure as a senator up for failure. Oh yeah, if I just fail to pass any of the shit I've promised in the next 6 years, well, I said during the campaign I might not be able to get it done. So, what do you expect, huh?
Laws that hold us back, our democracy is crumbling. I'm not the problem here. My opponent on the stage, he sat there and attacked me. I'd never heard him say the word Trump, albeit once the entire time. I am leading the charge to take on his abuses of power. I am going to vote for comprehensive campaign finance reform. I'm not going to speculate about what employees groups are going to come together. But you know what? I will say this. Some of these groups, with the auto companies and this and that, my work in the Congress has always been directed towards the people of Michigan. I have 17 labor endorsements in this race.
She's writing the
most by
coattails
a
of all
long
her
shot.
auto work,
Most of the building
stuff she did under
trades
Obama.
and the labor.
But keep in mind, UAW endorsed Abdul and not her, so not really a argument that she could make.
Unions. But thank you so much for pushing on the question. I appreciate that, Beth. Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for pushing on the question, because I just have the inability to answer a basic fucking question.
The conversation about Abdul's personal financial disclosure, I understand.
Yeah.
You might have just released it like 2 hours
Yeah,
ago.
and we
so
still don't have the full tax return.
What should we glean from what he did release today? I guess what was the most.
I think it was released like
Wayne
when
County
we were
votes coming
pulling
up.
in, so I don't know.
I presume this will go
But
well for
this
El
is
Sayed,
bigger, hundreds of thousands of Michiganders
since he used to be
voted.
the
I
the health director for this
we're
county.
talking about, the campaign finance system. Why is this leading candidate on the stage here not releasing his full tax return and being transparent with us? We're going to go into a general election, and these Republicans
Earn
have
these
got all the
fucking tax returns, man. Hey, where'd you make your $1 million from? I don't know, Haley. Where'd you get fucking $60 million of corporate PAC money from? Oh my God.
in the world to try and flip
These
this
damn
seat.
tax
You got
returns, bro.
Rogers already saying that he wants to run against Abdul because he thinks it makes it easier. I don't plan on making anything easier for him.
Representative, I was at the Trump rally today and just
Was it a rally? Yeah, site visit.
Fine line between rally
at
and
the
site
Milford
visit.
Proving Ground, where
Right.
I have been, I have been out to that Milford. It's an amazing thing. They used to spy on it because that's where they're testing all the cars.
I wonder.
And we've done a UAW strike there, in 2019. But anyway, you were asking about Trump.
I wonder, just talking to some of the Trump supporters there that seem to be licking their chops,
Jesus.
no matter who wins the primary, that there's going to be a schism in the party that is not going to be able to be healed by November. Do you have that concern?
I'm not playing into Republican fear-mongering attacks. I think what you have in the Michigan Democratic
But she
Party right now is
No,
the
but she
best-
is. I was going to bring up this point. I decided not to because I thought it'd be redundant. But she is playing into Republican fear-mongering, where Mike Rogers says, I would love to run against El Sayed because it would be a layup. And he's just saying that so Democrats get scared and vote for Haley Stevens because she's the actual layup. Democrats in places like Michigan and Wisconsin, those states up there, only struggle because they keep picking these centrist-ass Democrats. Alyssa Slotkin winning her race for the Senate by not that much, is just because she's like a former CIA agent, centrist Democrat. And if she ran on the same platform as El Sayed, then it wouldn't be a problem. She would have won by pretty decent numbers. People want that platform that progressives have. And when Mike Rogers says that shit, it's so Democrats will get scared and vote for her instead, the actual layup in this election. We just got internal communications from the Republican Party that they are actually quite scared of Francesca Hong winning her primary in Wisconsin's governor race and El Sayed winning his primary in this race right now. We have the polling to show that. That's just so crazy. I'm not going to play in to Republican fear-mongering, and it's like, you are, though. You're playing into that dumb bullshit that Mike Rogers said, where he said that El Sayed would be a layup because he wants to run against you. He wants Democrats to vote for you because you're the actual candidate that's easy to beat in the general. Because you have no actual principles. Your principles are, I'm going to do what the other guy's doing, but worse. And I'm getting a shitload of corporate money to do it.
On display here in Michigan. Abdul has put forward his ideas. I have put forward mine. He's run statewide before. Remember, he ran in 2018 for governor.
Yeah, he ran 8 years ago during a totally different political climate. During the Hillary Clinton, neoliberal era of Trump won.
Then he continued to go on with his, book writing, and that's when I think he started that podcast show. We still don't know exactly who was paying him for that or where that money came from, especially last year when he was running for Senate, because I was just working and standing up to Trump last year when I was running for this position. And so, look.
I'm not going to lie, she's kind of an asshole.
About Mike, because he's doing nothing. He lost to Alyssa Slotkin. He's told us very clearly
She's
what he
kind of an
wants to do,
ass.
which is rubber stamp Trump. He's being dishonest with the people of Michigan, and he knows that on November 3rd, I will beat him and become Michigan's next U.S. Senator, delivering for us on day one to lower costs, to stand up for our manufacturing sector, rather, and to stop Trump's abuse of power.
Congresswoman, picking up on that, what is your plan to win over the more stubborn Abdul supporters?
Good luck. Good fucking luck, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, good luck, man. She's just so unlikable. The way she talks about Abdul, that racist ass attack she did on him a couple days ago, and then I don't know, man. It's just I don't know why she thought that this would work. I mean, surely it's just the DNC being like, oh yeah, just run the same milquetoast campaign that all of our other guys run. And you've got this in the bag, girl. Oh. Yeah, good luck winning over stubborn Abdul supporters. And like, if she somehow does squeak out a win in this primary, you know that meme where it's like, we showed a chimp with the median American voter thanks, and he killed himself. That's how I'm going to feel. I'm going to be the chimp. I'm going to see how the voters in Michigan vote. And if it's a win for her, my God, what the fuck are we doing, man? But I don't think that's going to happen. I saw the Emerson poll. A lot of their internal polling I don't trust, but I saw the Emerson poll, and that one was like pretty heavily in favor of Abdul El-Sayed. I mean, it's saying as of July, and I believe this was polled right after the debate. I mean, Abdul El-Sayed jumped from 24% in April to 54% in July. Stevens jumped from 13 to 39%. And that's only because Mallory McMorrow dropped out, and she was polling higher than Haley Stevens in April. And obviously all of those supporters have just kind of transferred over from her to Stevens and El-Sayed. So, you know, it's not really looking that good for Stevens based on that poll. It looks like the margin of error is not even that bad either. So like he's leading by a pretty decent amount. Man, like, and Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, has such a bad approval rating right now. I mean, she has a decent one amongst Democratic primary voters, although it's not great. It's just above the halfway point, which is a huge drop from before. But like overall, she doesn't have the greatest approval rating, so I don't know if that endorsement's going to help Stevens at all. New votes just came in. Abdul El-Sayed. Oh, some votes from the Upper Peninsula too. From Alger County. That's 20% in favor of El-Sayed at 52%. You know, El-Sayed's taking a lot of votes actually. Like from Kent, he's up 55.3% to Haley's 38.9. He's not doing great in Wexford County, but they haven't reported that many votes yet. Wayne County still ahead, but they also haven't reported that many votes yet. Alger County, same thing. Not reported a whole lot of votes, but he's still ahead of her. Meg Morrow's picking up a few votes here and there. She's at 1,100 so far. She's got 5% of the vote. I would say it's pretty insane that, you know, she is still getting votes, that people are so not into Haley Stevens, but are not really super keen on a progressive like El-Sayed, that they're willing to vote for Mallory McMorrow, bro. That's kind of nuts. Like, how I want to check in on Missouri real quick. I know that's not what we're covering so far, but I want to check in on Missouri because Cori Bush is running, and I want to see how they're doing with Cori Bush. Oh, I don't even think those polls are closed yet. Oh, maybe that primary's not even today. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was today. They just not counting anything? What the hell? That's weird. Yeah, I hope Cori Bush can take her seat back. More votes are in. Abdul El-Sayed at 55.8%, to Haley's 38.7%. Yeah, Mike Rogers, no votes. I mean, I don't really give a fuck about Mike Rogers' race. He's running unopposed. But yeah, I don't know. I can't stand Haley Stevens' neoliberal message, and it's just so bizarre how, like, she's just not playing this race correctly at all. And I think McMorrow definitely boosted El Sayed unintentionally to the spotlight when she started like derailing her campaign with the whole, oh, he's campaigning with Hassan Piker, a guy that like not that many people had even heard of at that point. But yeah, I think that's what really helped his campaign boost to the top of the polls. I'm going to go put my dishes away. I'll be back.
That he has brought into the fold that maybe weren't involved in past elections?
Well, look, I'm going to, work my heart out to earn every vote. I'm really proud to have a unique rapport with independent voters, as I always have, and I'm really proud of the unique coalition that I've built. Mayors from Lansing and Farmington Hills and Grand Rapids who, have endorsed my candidacy. And I'm so proud to be on the team. I'm on the team that believes in universal health care, on using the tax code so that we can lower costs and so that people can build wealth through small business creation, and so that industrial policy, like what I championed and got done for the CHIPS and Science Act, can be achieved in the form of other bills like what I want to do with critical minerals.
And you had a line on this during the debate, but if you could expand, why don't you support abolishing ICE? Is it because you don't think it'll ever pass Congress? Is it because
No, I just don't think slogans address complex
No, I just
solutions.
think
You
we
heard
should
what I said in
reform
the
these
debate.
agencies
I said
and
that
make
the
them
$70 billion slush
they'll still
fund
be
that went
violent,
to
but,
ICE
not
needs
as
to be
violent and not as
redirected
overt.
and stripped away from them and go into our communities. That we need to have overhauls. Also, we need to have accountability, something else I'm leading the charge on. ICE agents that committed crimes from top to bottom need to be prosecuted. Those are real solutions here. I am already leading on this front, and I'm ready to continue doing it, just like Gary Peters, our great senator right now. Pay attention to the work that he's doing on this front. You had something, friend?
Yes. Do you regret the amount of money that APAC has spent for you in this campaign, given how often they came up in the debate and on the campaign trail?
I'm surprised
Look,
she's not
I'm proud
running
of
away. Surprised she's not running away. She just ran away from Walter Masterson the other day. She ran away from that one lady with the baby. Surprised she didn't run out of the room screaming when he asked that question.
My record. I'm proud to be, fighting for the people of Michigan. Anyone, and this goes to Beth's question. Look, people who donate to me, in the ways that our rules allow, they are doing so because I fight for the people of Michigan. My record on that front is crystal clear. I'm not just offering complaints and slogans.
$36 million of APAC money because I fight for the people of Michigan. Let's pull up the El Sayed post-debate interview while I go to the bathroom. I don't really have much to say about his. I mean, he's the GOAT. Let's just say that. He's the GOAT.
I'll tell you what. You reach out to
But he was fired up in this one. I did watch a little bit of this one. He was fired the hell up. And, I just... And look, like, with the whole, like, abolishing ICE thing, I think we should abolish ICE. I think we should go back to INS. And I've said this a lot of times at this point, that we should go back to something like INS. And people like Haley Stevens, I mean, those are the same types of Democrats that didn't dismantle the concentration camps on the southern border under the Biden administration, continued to deport people in some cases more often than Trump did and Trump won under the Biden administration. I mean, she's that breed of Democrat that like takes Republican policies, shines them up a little bit, and then like kind of pushes them under the table and passes them without anybody like really noticing. And we need to do away with that kind of Democrat. I mean, it's disgusting. The whole like, oh, I don't like slogans, which is clearly calling back to the ACAB slogan, which I will say is it was an objectively not so great slogan at the time. And defund the police was too vague, but the message behind those slogans was an agreeable message, which was divert funding from the police to social services, and then improve people's material conditions, and crime will go down, and people's lives will improve. And the ACAB one was just because people were upset, which that's understandable. When you watch every month a couple new police brutality videos coming out, it's understandable that you would hate cops at that point.
To our office, we'll be happy.
Also,
to
policing as an
I think
institution
this is all a
is
distraction from the question of
embedded in
who are
racism
all the
and
501c4s that have funded
enforcing slavery.
Center Forward. Who are all the funders behind the Center for Democratic Priorities? Now, to say that somehow my tax return is more important to the voters in the state than the $60 million that have been spent in this race on ads, most of them attacking me at this point, I think is missing the boat. So happy to release everything. We released all of our personal financials. I'm not hiding anything. The question is, what's the Congresswoman hiding about the people who are actively funding her campaign? We're getting outspent in this race 12-1. I don't think people really quite appreciate what that means. 12-1. All money funded through super PACs, which is exactly what the ending of Citizens United is supposed to do. Now, when you can say you really want to get money out of politics or you want to end Citizens United, but then you are the principal benefactor of Citizens United, that to me seems just to be a little bit more of the hypocrisy that we've seen.
They're taking large money from family members, large amounts of money from.
I'll tell you this:
my
father-in-law does not want to send your tax dollars to the Israeli military to do genocide. I'll tell you that much. And also, again, 12-1, 12-1. Like the difference matters here, and most of any outside funding has come from Working Families Party, UAW, American Federation of Teachers, National Nurses United. I've never taken a dollar from a corporation. She's hiding all the corporate dollars she's taken, or lying about it, frankly, that you all saw. DTE, $47,500 in this race, and frankly said, no, I haven't taken it. If you can lie about that straight up in front of a studio audience and national television viewers, what else are you lying about? And so I'd love to have a conversation about transparency, love to have a conversation about funding campaigns, love to have a conversation about why she's taking money from all of the worst corporate actors. So Chevron, Exxon, DTE, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Big Pharma, Big Tech, APAC. Who else? And then why did you and your mom have to go to Portugal? That's the important question. We want to talk about family members, right? Why do you take your mom to Portugal? Did she have to get spun by the same corporations trying to spin you on policy so that on the way home, your mom could spin you? I don't understand. Is this how it's supposed to be done? Is this how, when you go to DC, is that how they teach you you're supposed to operate? Because I'm not trying to operate that way. And I think it's important for voters out there to understand just how corrupting the corporate money has become. When they're flying you out to Portugal to talk to you about big pharma policy or big tech policy, when you come back, you're not doing the goods for Michiganders, you're doing the goods for those companies.
How do you plan on voting on the state capitol convention question in November?
The state capitol convention in November.
The con.
I have to be honest with you, that's an interesting, I think you're the first journalist to ask me. I'm gonna say no at this point. I'm vote against it. But I do think that we're due up for some updates, particularly at the federal level, right? Many of the problems in our governance at the federal level right now, you're doing the goods for the tech policy. When you come back, you're not doing the goods for Michiganders, you're doing the goods for those companies.
How do you plan on voting on the state capitol convention question in November?
The state capitol convention in November.
The con.
I have to be honest with you, that's an interesting, I think you're the first journalist to ask me. I'm going to say no at this point. I'm vote against it. But I do think that we're due up for some updates, particularly at the federal level, right? So many of the problems in our governance.
I think his is a little more you get it. He's the GOAT. I did want to fill the time. Holy fucking shit.
In Washtenaw County in 2016, running against Bernie Sanders, right? He'd be the college town guy, you would think, right? Hillary Clinton, well, she didn't do great, but she got 44% in Washtenaw County. These are establishment candidates in Democratic primaries in this county. That is where Stevens is running, we think, with a mix of early vote by mail and election day vote. She's a light year behind the other establishment candidates. We say, again, if you're an establishment candidate running against a progressive insurgent in a Democratic primary in Michigan, I think you go into it saying you're going to lose Washtenaw County, but you go into it saying, I want to be here. I want to lose it like this. I want to be in the low 40s, the mid 40s. You don't want to be in the 30s. You don't want to be in the low 30s. You don't want to be in the 20s. Now, that is 22% of the vote that's come in right there. There is more to come. That can change. Though I would say, and Adam, you can check on this if you have any of this information, the way it's gone in recent elections in Washtenaw County is at the very end, one of the last things that gets reported out is the vote by mail, specifically from the city of Ann Arbor. And that's not the entire county. That's a big chunk of vote. So That's why I'm curious to see how the vote by mail is breaking here, because if it's, Adam can tell me if there's some chance. You have it?
Yeah, so right now I see in the vote that just came in, we have 39, according to our estimates, 39% of the election day vote in this mix, and we have 11.
Wow. I mean, look at the overall 62% so far. We just started. I mean, granted, there's not that much in, but pretty good early, pretty good early indications. What's going on? 2 Democrats running in Michigan's 7th congressional district voiced concerns today over the Justice Department's decision to monitor polling locations in 4 Michigan cities. William Lawrence told NBC News Meet the Press Now that the Justice Department's presence at polling sites absolutely does raise concerns, though he said his campaign had not heard any reports of issues at the locations being monitored. But to me, it looks like he said, quote, "But to me, it looks like a dry run and a fact-finding mission to interfere in a bigger way with the general election in November," Lawrence said, arguing the effort could foreshadow broader federal involvement ahead of the general election in November. Ooh, okay. The Department of Justice is devoting extensive resources to ensure uniform and non-discriminatory monitoring. We appreciate the cooperation of these jurisdictions in promoting trust and transparency. That's what the Assistant Attorney General of the Justice Department Civil Rights Division said. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's the goal here. I mean, come on. Fucking voter fraud central motherfuckers being like, no, we're just here to monitor the situation. No, you're not. That is really freaky and a really disturbing implication of where the general election will go for the midterms. More votes in. It's funny how she keeps going up by 0.1% and then dropping right back down. But I wanted to go over some information about the candidates. Now, Haley Stevens is a House representative from District 11, which is, the Pontiac, Michigan area right outside Detroit. And she was elected in 2018 during the first Trump term, during the big dim wave of historic numbers of women joining the House. Her and Alyssa Slotkin won neighboring districts at the time. But before that, she worked for the Michigan Democrats chapter. Then she worked for the Clinton campaign during the 2008 primary. And when Clinton lost the primary, she jumped to the Obama campaign. After the primary and Obama won the presidency after the election, she was hired on to basically be the presidential task force for the auto industry to revive the auto industry post financial crisis. So that's where she gets a lot of her street cred regarding the auto industry from. She then went back to Michigan in 2017, where she ran for her House seat in the midterms. And that is where the infamous Obama endorsement comes from. The one she keeps claiming applies to this race too, where she keeps saying that Obama endorsed her in those campaign ads. That endorsement is from her original House seat run, not from this current Senate race. So she's lying when she says that shit. Excuse me. During 2022, during her re-election bid during the Biden midterms, she took $3 million from pro-Israel lobbyists to defeat Andy Levin in the Democratic primary. Already early signs of a Israel interference element in the Democratic primary at the time. I got to turn on my alerts. Or not that it matters. Anyway, yeah. So, she did that in the midterms for Biden, which already is kind of like a precursor to this race, right? After the Trump-Biden debate, the infamous one from 2 years ago, she said, quote, "I trust our president and know he is the one to finish the job," end quote, which I guess you can't really indict her for that. Every establishment Democrat was saying that shit at the time. except for us, which I'm a leftist, I'm not a Democrat, but you get what I'm saying. You know, a lot of Democrats at the time were saying that. Kamala Harris was even saying it. And then a month later, he would drop out. But I guess he got his sign from God, because that's what he said it would take to do so. So far in the race, she has taken $36 million from AIPAC. There was an updated graphic recently. She's taken $36 million from AIPAC and other pro-Israel lobbyists like UDP and all that, which is a subsidiary of AIPAC. So that's how much money she's taken from pro-Israel PACs. She's accepted $16 million from a Stronger Michigan, which is a super PAC affiliated with Meta, the Facebook parent company. And then, you know, obviously the other big issue in this race, besides Israel and you know, AI and data centers, is obviously she doesn't want to abolish ICE. She wants to lightly reform it. Well, see, if they're wearing body cams, at least we'll see the footage of them killing American citizens in the streets. Jesus. But a Stronger Michigan PAC, $17 million, by the way, my bad. A Stronger Michigan PAC, I feel like isn't talked about enough, because if Meta wants to continue building data centers for Meta's AI, who's to say that they won't just leverage their $17 million donation through a Stronger Michigan, and Haley Stevens will vote against preventing data centers from being built anywhere in the country? I mean, that's the kind of stuff you have to think about. All these corporate donations come with strings attached. They're not just donating to you out of the goodness of their own heart. They're expecting you to be a reliable vote on bills that'll benefit them. So yes, and like anti-data center legislation, she's clearly conflicted in that due to Meta's influence. AIPAC related, like anti-Israel legislation, like denying arms, or, you know, an arms embargo, or not wanting to send aid, or striking down military funding for Israel. You know, she will be a reliable vote to send that money to Israel due to AIPAC's donations to her. And, you know, if you ever want to abolish ICE, she will not vote for that. She would rather you be killed in the streets on a body cam than just get rid of the whole organization as a whole and replace it with an administrative paper pushing administrative office, and have the law enforcement officers handle the more extreme cases of immigration violation. You know, she would rather you die on a body cam than abolish ICE. More votes are in. El Sayed is back up. Dr. Abdul El Sayed is back up. And speaking of him, let's get to him. His history. In 2014, he got his MD at Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. Instead of becoming a practicing doctor, he became an epidemiologist in public health. In 2015, the Detroit mayor at the time, Mike Dugan, I think, appointed him as the health officer and executive director of Detroit Health Department. He was the youngest health officer in any major U.S. city. During that time, he led efforts to test Detroit schools for lead due to the Flint water contamination incidents, which, if you remember, it's because Flint, Michigan had lead pipes and it was contaminating all of their water, and to this day still is. He also provided free glasses to kids in Detroit schools. He was then appointed to the Childhood Lead Elimination Board and served on the Public Health Advisory Commission and the Advisory Committee for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. He then ran for Michigan governor in 2017 due to the Flint water crisis. He was endorsed by Bernie Sanders and, at the time, congressional candidate AOC, which is big because she was running for she was a fresh politician running for a seat in New York. So that's pretty big that he got an endorsement from her early on. And Justice Democrats, which is a progressive organization for Democrats. They endorsed him too. He lost the primary to Gretchen Whitmer, but he did get about almost 30% of the vote, so pretty good for a guy who's pretty much only worked in public health up to that point. He was able to raise about, during this campaign, Sorry, I'm getting all my shit mixed up. During that campaign, he was able to raise about $5 million from individual donations and did not take any corporate PAC money. In 2023, he became the director of Wayne County's Department of Health, Human, and Veteran Services and served in the role for 2 years. His stance on Israel is that he's anti-genocide and apartheid, hasn't taken any money from AIPAC, hasn't taken any corporate money at all, and supports abolishing ICE. Pretty good record. Pretty good record. If I say so myself. More votes are in Washita. Washita, I don't know how you say that. I said Wachita, but I'm thinking of like a South kind of name. Washtenaw, yeah, we'll just say that. Washtenaw County, he is up by 68%. Stevens sitting at an abysmal 30. Livingston County, he is up to 61.4% to Stevens 35.6. Where's another high count county? Eaton. With dude, the NBC News website ramps my computer up so bad. It's very bizarre. Oh man. Not looking good for Cori Bush. With 15.9% of the votes in, Cori is sitting at a very sad 20% of the vote, and the incumbent, Wesley Bell, is sitting at 76.9. So, not looking good for Cori Bush. That's sad, man. I was hoping Cori Bush would be able to take her seat back. That sucks. Although I will say, the city of St. Louis has not had any votes come in yet. It's only been St. Louis County as a whole. Like the western part of the district has counted the votes so far, not the eastern part of the district, St. Louis City. So we'll see. I still have hope. Copium, call it copium if you will. I have hope. Yeah, I mean, El Sayed to me seems like the obvious choice. He's written books about public health. He's made podcasts about public health, which I don't see as a bad thing. I would say that's him providing a service. You know, he could podcast about any dumb shit, and he decides to podcast about public health and epidemiology. Come on. Like, and to write books about it too. I hate that Haley Stevens is trying to demonize this in the race. It's very disgusting to me.
The rest of the upper lower peninsula and the upper peninsula, this is sort of, it's vacation land, it's retirement land, not just for Michiganders, for a lot of folks around the Midwest. They call it the Midwest Coast. There's actually some wineries in Lila. There's high incomes here. Okay, so it's a different, we talk about northern Michigan being blue collar, older, white. These areas here tend to be, there's some growth population-wise. There is a lot of older population. It's a lot of retirees.
Other parts of Michigan are in the central time zone, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you know, I have a lot of confidence in El Sayed in this one. And you know, obviously I am just hoping because you know, I like his candidacy. I like his campaign that he's running. I like his policies, so obviously I want to see a senator like him win. Bernie Sanders is on the way out the door. We need a new progressive in the Senate. I mean, he's old now, man, and he could go at any moment, God forbid. And we need that progressive voice in the Senate. And I feel like, you know, you get someone like Abdul Sayed in there. You get, you know, Troy Jackson in there. Graham Plattner's replacement. I think if the tide of the Senate starts shifting toward progressivism, I think John Ossoff might be a good person that will flip toward being more progressive leaning. I think he has the capacity to be more progressive than he acts. He's young. You know, he clearly has more forward-thinking ideas than most Democrats. I think he's the most likely to have a progressive swing to him if the tide starts turning that way. So I think we're opening the door, and Tallarico's the same way. I think he has the ability to have a more progressive swing to him if he wins the Texas Senate seat. I think if we have those heavy hitters in the Senate, I mean, first of all, Chuck Schumer's done. He's out. You're going to have such the progressive wing of the party out there as the majority leader. There's no way. I think we're going to see some result. If we get that fucking idiot next election, oh my God, please run as a Republican, Fetterman. Please. I bet a Republican. I hope you, because he's up right now. I mean, not a lot of votes have come in, but he's up right now in Wayne County. Holy shit! What in the neo-Nazi is running in the Republican race for that seat? Holy shit, dude! Oh my God! Holy crap! Yikes! Look at this guy. Get a load of this fucking dude. This is the... I need a bigger photo than that. This is the dude running. Why is there... Dude. Why are there no photos better than this? It looks like somebody snuck a photo of him at like a Klan rally. But look at the Republican in that race. What the fuck? That dude looks crazy. This is nuts. It's also very alarming that when I looked him up, one of the first things that came up was a page from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. A lot of pictures from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. Was this guy a cop? Wait, I just realized I think this guy might have been a cop. Let's look. Let's look. I want to know more about him. Let me know. Let's see. Any information about this guy? No description about this guy. Come on. Like, is there no like campaign website for him? Dude, this dude's underground. Does he not have a campaign website? Oh, it looks like he does. Ew, that looks like it's going to steal my information. TP313.org. This looks sketchy. What the hell? Mission and agenda. Let's see. Let's get a load of this guy. Oh wow, look at this. Wow. Puck Footen. Wow. Let's see. Very pro-Israel, I guess. I don't care about the Ukraine part. The Ukraine part's fine, but the pro-Israel part is definitely alarming. What else does this guy believe in? Oh, okay, nice. Decriminalize marijuana at the federal level. Okay, we agree on something. Unqualified immunity for federal officers who knowingly violate constitutional rights. Whoa, hold on. Whoa. Hold the phone, bro. This guy's a Republican? Okay, we agree on this. Government accountability? Well, he's not really... You can't really trust him on this one because he's pro-Israel. Yeah, you can't really trust him on this one, I mean. He is pro-Israel, so... You're already burning mountains of cash sending Israel that money. Protect Medicare and Medicaid. What the fuck? Am I on the right website? Is this the average Detroit Republican? The guy from Shark Tank? The dude from Shark Tank endorsed him. He looks like he'd kill your family at night. I'm not going to lie.
This is so bizarre. He has more. Stand with law enforcement. Okay, there's the Republican part. And honestly, the centrist Democrat part too, because Haley Stevens probably believes in this. Defend election integrity. Yeah, it looks like he might be in favor of something like the SAVE Act. Secure our borders. There's the Republican talking point again. What else we got? Protect parents' rights. Yeah, here we go. So here's the school choice position, neighborhood, and gentrifying it. Pro Second Amendment. Yeah, that makes sense. Not as a Republican, buddy. You ain't protecting shit in terms of free speech. Support American energy. Probably has to do with coal, I would assume. Yeah. Okay, there are some Republican policies in this grid. Put your name on this movement? Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Don't mind if I do. Thank God I didn't. I was almost going to click this, but it would have immediately doxed my entire existence. So thank God I didn't do that. Yeah, whatever. This dude's very strange. Although his website goes hard as fuck. This picture is hard as hell. Not gonna lie. Like this website is actually really well made. I'm a little surprised by how well made this website is. This part is a little dog shit. The random picture like this in the middle of the website, that part's not that good. In terms of web design, this part should have been removed. Like, we get the point, bro. You mention it in the first part of your website. This part could have been removed just because it looks so tacky and out of place. But the rest of the website looks pretty damn good. And I'm a little shocked. And I gotta say, DSA using WordPress, come on now, get on this guy's level. No, I'm just kidding. I like the DSA. They're working with what they got. But yeah, this guy is an interesting fellow. Although I will say, not very photogenic. Not to be mean or anything, but really not that photogenic. He's a little interesting in terms of like fashion choices and the way he decides to look. Like in that one endorsement photo with the guy from Shark Tank, I'm not kidding you, he looks like a family killer. Like, why does he look so miserable in this photo? Although he is dripped out. He does have the chain. He is dripped the fuck out. But why does he literally look like he wants to kill his wife in this photo, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, be aware of the fact that you look like you're gonna beat somebody's ass when you're in a photo. Like loosen up a little bit. Pull back on the frown a little bit there, because it looks a little intimidating for voters, I feel like. But my only note: some good web design, man. It's the only thing I have to say about your website is good web design. Don't agree with you, but good web design. Good job. See how he's doing. See how El Sayed's doing. Still pretty good, although it is starting to narrow a little bit. Ooh. Although the polls are closed now for the western part of the peninsula, I believe. So that's why the too early to call part is on there. And that's why Mike Rogers is the winner. Color me shocked. The race is starting to narrow a little bit. I'm not worried, but there's a 20,000 vote gap between the two. But I'm not gonna get overconfident and blow it early. And be like, yep, she's in the dust. You know, I'm not gonna be like that. Incumbent Wesley Bell won the primary in Missouri's 1st district, beating out Cori Bush. That's so sad. Man. I was really excited for Cori Bush to come back into the House, but whatever. That would have been a nice redemption. Yeah, because the Democrats ate shit in the 2024 election. Like, they
bombed it. I mean, when Trump won, race really fucking slow though. Like, count a little faster, guys.
So there you go. You see how that works? That was great. And I think you saw the moment, right? I mean, look at that. I don't need to repeat it. You just heard it. But this is such a huge, yes. Okay, we're going to do another News Now hit in 5 minutes. This will be about Missouri 1. So we'll check in there in a second. But I just want to see, did we get any more Macomb? We did not. We don't have any more Wayne. Nothing significant, Adam? I see a little bit. We got
more out of Washtenaw. We got more out of St. Joseph. We got more out of Eaton.
How much more? So did we just got some vote by mail?
I'm presuming that that's what we're waiting on is the vote by mail crowd. That's what I presume we're waiting on right now. Like they're counting all the early votes as we speak and are going to start bringing in some of the same day votes. But I would assume that we're just waiting on the.
That's Stephen's number vote ticked up right there. We're over half the vote in Washtenaw. Again, she's trying to get to 40.
Shit up. I was so down in the dumps. I was so hopeless. I was like, it's fucking over. We've lost. We're never gonna have another election again. We're fucked. I was really down in the dumps about it. And Zohran Mamdani winning the primary and then at the end of the year winning the election. Oh my God. I have never felt you know what? You know that famous Instagram meme, the killing myself postponed. That's how I felt. I was like, wow. You know, there's actual electoral hope again. There's a leftist wave that's going to hit after this. And I said at the time that you can take Mamdani's tenure as mayor and use it as a example of what it'll look like if a progressive has control over things. And I think it's working. I think it's showing people, especially based on the New York primary that just happened, where Daria Liza and Claire Valdez and Brad Lander won their primaries. And Brad Lander especially unseating a very prominent Democrat incumbent. I would say that's indicative of the fact that Mamdani has shown that progressivism works, that politicians can get shit done, that the era of Democrats shitting the bed and saying, oh, we just can't do it. It's so much work. We'll never get it done. The era of that is over, that when you play ball and you actually try and want to serve the people, that it will work. And I will say, I think this is the last time. This election will be the last major election that will be predominantly ruled by lesser than evil voting. I think this is the last time we'll see that. Democrats will no longer be able to run on a platform of, vote for me because at least I'm not the other guy. I feel like we've had that time and time again. Biden won in 2020 on a platform of, I'm not Donald Trump. You want a break from Trump? Vote for me. And then when 2024 came around, people went, you're dog shit, dude. You didn't do really anything for 4 years other than a few neutered pieces of legislation. You really didn't do that much. And so people didn't show up for him in the same way that they did in 2020. Or, they didn't show up for Harris, who said that she would just continue the same bullshit that Biden was on. And Trump ended up winning a second term. This lesser than evil voting crap is not going to work anymore. And I think that especially when progressives get into these positions of power and start showing that they can govern and legislate effectively and provide effectively for their constituents, you won't have to run on a platform of, well, look, I'm not this guy. This guy's evil. You won't have to run on that anymore. You can run on, look at all the shit I'm getting done. Look at how much better y'all's lives have gotten based on the work I've been doing in Washington or in your state legislator or in your mayor's office or your governor's office, whatever it may be. Look at all the work I've been doing. Look at how it's made y'all's lives better. Do you feel like your lives have gotten better? If yes, vote for me. because I will continue to make your lives better. If El Sayed, sponsors some bills, gets a lot of shit done, even if he, there's even a chance somewhere down the line, he could be the Senate Majority Leader. If he pushes shit through the Senate and gets shit done, and he goes for re-election in 2030, or not 2030, sorry, 2032, God, it's already 2026, holy shit. When he goes up for re-election in 2032, he can run on the idea of, look at what I've done for Michigan, look at what I've done in Washington, look at all the stuff I've gotten done, all of the progress we've made under my leadership, under my governing. If you want that to continue, you should vote for me again. He won't have to play that song and dance that all these Democrats play of, well, Donald Trump's a bad guy. That's what Haley Stevens is doing. She's going, look at how bad Mike Rogers is. Mike Rogers is going to go in there and tear shit up. Don't pay attention to what I'm going to do, which is effectively nothing good for you. I'm going to keep giving away millions of your tax dollars to corporate interests. I'm going to keep giving away billions of your tax dollars to foreign governments like Israel. I'm not going to increase your minimum wage. I'm not going to reinstate your health care premiums under the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to do any of these things. I'm going to be beholden to corporate interests, but at least I'm not Mike Rogers. That is effectively what Haley Stevens is running on, and it's not popular, and it's not going to work. And I think this is the last major election where we're going to see that kind of running, where in 2 years, these Democrats that are up for re-election for the Senate that aren't up for re-election right now are going to be primaried by insurgent left-wing Democrats or DSA, and DSA is going to come in and go, look at our guys. Our guys are getting shit done. Y'all haven't. You can't just keep running on, oh, well, I'll be better than the Republican in November. Be better than the candidate you're running against in this primary. And if you aren't better than them, get the hell out of the way and make room for somebody that is. I think that's what we're going to be seeing in the next election in 2028. And I think we're seeing it right now, too, to some extent. But at least in 2028, we will have the 2 years of record of progress, of actual like work to show. You know, we have our works cited page done, which, I mean, really right now we're doing that with New York City. I mean, you know, he's already gotten the child tax credit through. He just froze the rent. Now he's working on faster and free buses. It looks like they're getting ready to open their first municipally ran grocery store. They just did like a major trash can remodel through sanitation that doesn't cost like $30 million or whatever it costs under Eric Adams. Yeah, it looks like they're getting a lot of shit done so far, and we're only 7 months into the Mamdani administration. 7 months out of 4 years in, and he's already hit like at least 3 major bullet points on his agenda. Oh, and I forgot the tax on billionaires, you know, and the whole like if you own a second home that's in New York City, you've got to pay higher taxes on it because you are not technically a resident of New York City. You're just hogging up a residency here. Yeah, I mean, he's already done so much. I think it'll speak for itself for these nationwide progressives and Democrats running in primaries, where they can point to stuff like that right now and go, look at what he's doing. I'm going to carry on that same type of platform. In 2 years, they can point to someone like El Sayed. They can point to someone, hopefully, like Troy Jackson and be like, look at what they're getting done right now in the Senate. And they can also point to people like Daria Liza, like Claire Valdez, like Brad Lander. They can, you know, point to Francesca Hong if she becomes the Wisconsin governor. They can point to, who else? Malat Kuros from District 1 of Colorado. They can point to her. Like, look at what she's getting done in the House. You know, it's not just the Senate. They can point to the progressives getting work done in the House. You know, we want to talk about the squad. The squad is about to get way bigger. You know, it's about to just be the progressive flank of the House. we're about to have a very parliamentary looking split of the House, where you're going to have these large portions of progressives that you need when crafting legislation as a centrist Democrat. Yeah, I mean, they can point to people like Malak Quiros. They can point to people like Daria Lisa and Claire Valdez. They can point to essentially Hamoe from New Jersey as well. I almost forgot to mention him. They can point to Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, all these progressives that are going to get a lot of shit done in the House, and be like, look at what they're doing. I can bring that to your district. And I have a feeling, because I think that square right here above Detroit, I believe, is the district that Haley Stevens represents, if I remember right. So that one I'm not shocked by. If Flint starts coming in, I would presume it'll go for El Sayed based on his work in the public health sector. Yeah, I mean, he's gone up another 1,000 votes over Stevens. It's looking pretty good. And I'm pretty confident in El Sayed's chances here. I just yapped for so long. That's going to be so good, especially when it comes to oversight over RFK's disastrous tenure right now. If you get someone like El Sayed over in oversight over that, it's a wrap. It's going to be awesome. Just got back from the centrist rally. Amazing turnout. Thousands of people holding hands and chanting "Better things aren't possible." Awesome.
We'll hold off on that. Sorry, you were saying?
Are we
I'm
going to
just trying
have
to go through
results
these
by
Oakland
tonight?
County results
Jesus
right
Christ,
now
they're
and-
counting
and
that
pull
shit
out.
slow.
We are getting our first look at some of the precinct results, so I'm trying to
My
take a look
God.
at those right now, and I'll get back to you.
Okay. Let me just check in on Kansas for a second, and then we're going to take a tour back around Michigan here. But I want to update you on this. In the Republican primary for governor of Kansas, the Trump-endorsed candidate, Ty Masterson, you saw him leading in those first votes that came in real fast there. We've now called it. NBC News' decision desk has declared that Ty Masterson will be the Republican nominee for governor of Kansas. Again, with that Trump endorsement, the track record that's had this primary season, not necessarily a big surprise over there. We are not yet calling what you're looking at right here on the Democratic side. Cindy Holscher, I think the last time we checked in, this was about 1,000 vote gap. It's moved up to about we got about half the vote. She's leading by about 3.5 points right now over Ethan Corson. Again, both candidates right here from Johnson County, where we still got 2/3 of the vote in. What's changed, I can see, is they've played leapfrog here. Holscher has taken the lead in Johnson County, not much, but she was trailing Corson there the last time we checked in. Corson continues to.
I think it's really interesting how Republican the middle of the country is. And obviously we live in an era right now where that's the case. But when our parents were growing up, that wasn't always the case. I mean, even Ronald Reagan was able to flip the whole country red at one point, minus Minnesota. Jesus. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. If you can flip California red just 40 years ago, you can flip somewhere like Kansas blue. I mean, this is part of my theory is that, one, it seems that Tallarico has a very real chance, better than Beto O'Rourke's chance, of flipping Texas blue for the Senate seat. And Kentucky has a Democrat governor who has won, I believe, 2 elections so far, Andy Bashar. So anything's possible, man. The state of Georgia right now and North Carolina, Georgia, my home state. We have 2 Democrat senators right now. John Ossoff's obviously up for re-election, but his chances are looking pretty good because Mike Collins has just. I think it's very possible if you address people's concerns their actual needs and give them real tangible solutions and then deliver, you'll be able to win these areas. These Republicans are disillusioned with the preppy, rich, hypocrite, like corporate style of
the needle substantially, but it is 10% more. We were at 60% in. Now we're at 70% in. What can we tell right away what we got?
I don't know municipality-wise, but yes, this new vote broke Stevens 49, El Sayed 48.
Is there an indication? Is this a mix?
I don't have detailed breakouts for Oakland, but I'll take a look.
I know I'm putting you on a spot right there because it takes a second to make sense of these. So let us know when you do. But that's an important point here because we talked about this a little bit at the top. Maybe we need to reinforce it right now. Oakland typically has put out a giant batch of vote by mail first thing. And then what's happened is the rest of the night, there've largely been batches that are kind of mixed. They'll mix them in. You'll get some vote by mail. You'll get some election day. You'll get them both at once. You'll get them, in quick succession. So it's the pattern is very difficult. It was really able to make up for it in a big way in Wayne County for the reasons. If you were watching that hit I just did for News Now a minute ago, I don't know that
99-cent tea.
They're coming. Okay, what time is that? Okay, about a minute. They're going to come to us in Oakland County. Do we have some?
Yeah, the best I can tell, it was one of those municipalities reporting their mail vote, or one or probably a few of them based on the vote totals. Okay, but I can't give you more than that.
Kornacki dropping his papers, folks. Holy shit!
1 minute right here. We're going to talk about Oakland County. So we're going to go through a little bit of what we just did. I'm going to put this back up on the statewide screen. 22%. So that Oakland batch we just got,
almost 22,000 votes.
I think it has helped move us. Was there anything else substantial?
There was another 11,000 Washtenaw votes.
Okay. So Washtenaw, and the Stevens numbers moved up a little bit here. I mean,
but not enough.
This has been a trend here where,
not enough.
We showed you this in Eaton, we showed you this in Livingston. Remember, she started the night, I think, like at 28 and change. Oh, good. Okay. Adam, I got to give you this.
Kornacki at the big board. So, Steve, you're getting some new numbers in from Oakland County. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so now take a look here. The biggie here, we've got 70% of the vote in. Remember,
big screen,
we was 60% all at once the last time we checked in. We just got another 10%.
They got 'em on the big
and the bottom line is it
screen.
looks like it did before here with Stevens with a little bit less than a 2-point advantage over Al Sayed. We're trying to figure out, this is what it comes to in Michigan primaries, trying to discern exactly what type of vote you're looking at. We've been talking about that vote by mail being so friendly to Stevens, that election day vote being so friendly to Al Sayed. I think one of the things we're seeing here in Oakland County is a mix of these two types of votes here. So they've each had some favorable batches that have been part of this. And actually, sorry, if you're watching, I want to explain what just happened. This number that was at 70% in just came down to 67%. Why is that? It's because this is an estimate that our decision desk makes of how many votes total are going to be cast. Obviously, we don't know in advance how many people are going to turn out on election day and vote. So our decision desk is making that estimate, and they will adjust it as returns come in. It can be adjusted up or down slightly. And what just happened was it got adjusted down slightly, meaning that our decision desk thinks that there are more votes there will end up being more votes cast in Oakland County than they thought at the start of the night, than they thought going into tonight. That's what that means, to knock that down from 70 to 67%. That might mean higher turnout
Steve,
here on election day.
Just because the folks in the peanut gallery have a question for you on this. As you're explaining that, does that mean that turnout is more than was projected? Is that the TLDR on that?
Yeah, that's what.
I had interesting lore. I had a bus driver growing up, and we're in the South, so this is a white bus driver, and we had a lot of predominantly black students on our bus, and we were all older. Like it usually went like the older you were, the furthest to the back of the bus you would sit. So like I was probably in like the fourth to last row, and there were a lot of people in the back rows, and they were being a little loud, a little louder than you should on a bus, I guess. And that happens. you start having fun with your friends. It's the end of the day, and then you get a little too loud for the bus driver's taste. And she just kind of was like, "Hey, can y'all just quiet it down?" And one of the kids like said something, not even to her, just said something out loud. And she goes, "I don't need to hear it from the peanut gallery." And I guess those kids had just never heard that phrase before. Dude, they start going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, racist." I was like, holy shit, man. Oh, I mean, it's very possible that she meant it racially. Because that is a very, like, racially associated, like, image, calling a group of black kids the peanut gallery. I can see how that could be interpreted that way. I just remember at the time I was like, holy shit, this is not going well for this bus driver, man. Like, damn. Calling the bus driver racist because she called you the peanut gallery. That's fucking awesome. Because she just shut up after that. Like, she stopped talking. She was just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not getting involved with this anymore. Oh, man. Poor bus driver. This is whimsical ass music. What are they doing? How much of the overall votes come in so far for Michigan? Refresh this real quick. 21%. I mean, that's a quarter of the vote in so far, and he's over. I mean, if the race ended now in Georgia, it wouldn't go to a runoff. He's already at 51.8%. I'd say it's pretty good chances he's going to keep riding that wave and continue the momentum into the end of the count.
Got one note from the decision desk here.
Yeah.
Just some thoughts. They're still waiting for more data in their models right now, but it looks like, as we see in the vote totals, El Sayed has the lead. Can't say more than that until we get some more different places. That's what we're hearing from the decision desk.
And can you ask the decision desk, adjusting the expected vote, does that indicate higher election day turnout? Because I think that might be where this is coming from.
Yep.
Okay, so what we just got more, 22% statewide. There you go. We got more out of Macomb County. When Adam finishes trying to get an answer to that, I'm going to ask him a question about Macomb.
But I see 23% of our election day vote in, 6% of our mailed vote in, and 32% of our early vote in.
Okay. And how are they breaking?
I mean, that'd be a big
So the early
indicator
vote
how
breaking
bad.
65, 30.
That'd be a big indicator of how bad the Stevens campaign fumbled the auto workers messaging. Because, like I said earlier, she fought for the auto industry to stay alive basically during the Obama years after the financial crisis of 2007 and 8. So, or 2008. So that'd be kind of nuts if the counties that are primarily focused on auto workers, that'd be pretty nuts if they all kind of just went towards El Sayed. I mean, the fact that he's up in Macomb, I mean, the other one is her district, so I could see that going for her throughout the rest of the night. But we can't trust you to serve in the Senate, especially when we have a better option in front of us. Like, I'd love to see a race between her and Slotkin. I almost hope that she tries to primary Alyssa Slotkin in 2030. That'd be fucking hilarious. She would never do that. I think she'll retire from politics for a bit and probably try to run for governor when that seat comes up, and probably fail miserably. But that'd just be so fucking funny if she tried to go for Alyssa Slotkin's seat in 2030. She tried to primary her.
Oh, that'd be funny. I think also going into the 2030s, this might be going a little ahead of myself. But based on what I've seen so far, I mean, we're 6 years into the 2020s. We got 4 more years to go, which I feel old as fuck even saying that. But going into the 2030s, I think we will see a new era of career senators and House representatives going away. I think we will see a more politically competitive environment where gone will be the days of you win a seat in the Senate or in the House and you can win consecutive back-to-back elections, essentially uncontested and unopposed, for fucking 30 years and then retire comfortably at the end. Like we saw, I think it was in Malat Kiros's district, where the incumbent had sat in Congress for like 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. And then Dan Goldman was like a long time member of Congress as well. And I think we will see that era start to come to a close, at least on the Democrat side. On the Republican side, I'm sure they'll continue to prop up Henry McFreedom, 95-year-old congressman from Wyoming who's been serving in Congress for 65 years. And or what's that one meme? Like Representative Blood Feast or some shit like that. Yeah, like served in Congress for in Congress. I'm just saying, things are looking up. I'm optimistic. This is me talking about like the most optimistic part of the timeline, if this ever happened. Yeah, it's horrible that she did worse than both of them in that county. But I love that we have all the votes in from this village that has like 30 people in it. We got all the votes in from Beaver Island. And they've all gone towards McMorrow or whatever. This tiny ass county still had like 30 people. Yeah, 32 people still voted for Mallory McMorrow in that county. Oh my God. Imagine going into the voting booth and being like, I'm voting for Mallory McMorrow. Oh my God, dude. Oh, it's so funny.
Significant in matching a little bit of what we're seeing in bigger counties where Al Sayed, I think it signals potentially that Al Sayed may have a little bit of strength there. You're talking rural northern Michigan, you're talking blue-collar white voters. You're talking blue-collar older white voters. And Al Sayed may have, this is all from loose, but we're seeing little hints of this elsewhere in northern Michigan. That's why I'm
Kornacki might
sort
be
of
a little
leaning.
lost in the sauce on this one. That's the only county in the Upper Peninsula that has swung towards Stevens, and it's by like 30 votes. Not even.
With only 22% counted. We see a number of big counties right here
Like it's pretty
where,
mixed
as I've been
in the
telling
mainland,
you,
but in the Upper
Al Sayed
Peninsula, all
got
the
a
counties that
running
have come in
start
so far
with
are
that
colored
election
in
day
for
vote
Al
and got a
Sayed.
huge lead. And in places like Washtenaw, oh, look at this. I mean, he's still, we showed you, Stevens is still just under 33%. She probably wants to be getting into the 40s here. This is a real, even with Stevens ticking up, Al Sayed's, sitting in a good position in a place like Washtenaw County. But we've shown you like Eaton County, where that Stevens number, look, we're up to 84% in Eaton County. The Stevens number is sitting at 45.6%. Let's do our little game again with our benchmarks. Let's check in, because earlier it was a little bit of a different story here. 65% was the Whitmer number. We're in that zone of Michigan where Whitmer overperformed. So that's sort of an outlier number, but I put it up there. And then you look to the 2020 Sanders number here. It was 52%, okay? Biden number was 52%. And then the Clinton number was 44%. Now, we said Stevens can't use this as a benchmark because the Clinton got such a huge number out of Wayne to offset numbers like this. So Stevens has to be north of 44, getting closer to this. Well, she is north of 44 now. She's at 46, okay? There is still some vote to come out of Eaton County. So this number can climb farther, okay? I don't I think she wants to be getting this, high 40s across 50, something like that. I think that's what we're seeing in some of these counties. I think we're seeing it in like a place like Livingston County as well, where we now have 71% of the vote. Again, let's just take a look at these benchmarks. These are establishment candidates here. Whitmer, outlier, 61%. Biden, 52%. Clinton, 38%. The 38 won't work for Stevens as a benchmark because Clinton overperformed so much relative to her, we think, in Wayne. So again, you're looking more, if you're Stevens, at coming closer to the Biden number. Again, she's north of the Clinton number. She still has vote to come here. She could close in on that Biden number conceivably here. Let's see how that continues to go. I'm seeing her get to the edge, maybe the edge of where she needs to be in places like. I'm not seeing her do that in a big place like Washtenaw. We have very few votes. We just took you through.
I just don't see them going for Stevens in a big way. Not in a way that would be enough to make up for the gap that's between the two of them right now. And Jesus, Kornacki, get your fucking board under control. I know we still don't have that much of the vote in, shockingly, because they're counting the votes like a snail. But I don't know. At this point, I'm really struggling to see how Stevens is going to be able to make up the vote gap in a way that would. We're a quarter of the way in. Like, if the trend continues, she ain't winning, dog. I think depending on the just gonna take off the tie entirely. Sorry, suit's going away. I know. I think depending on how the counties end up going, if enough of like Wayne comes in or something. Oh, they're like shuffling papers and shit.
Steve, we've been keeping tabs on what you're watching and what you're looking for, and you got a lot of interesting stuff coming out of there in Michigan. Specifically,
I think
well, I'll let you.
Once enough of like Wayne comes in and stuff.
Well,
and it gets to like the halfway point, and he's still up like 30,000 votes at that point.
Statewide.
They'll call it.
It's a 6.5 point margin here for Al Sayed.
But I don't think we're gonna have a winner called before I end this episode. Like,
I think
they're counting too slow for that to happen. It'll be like tomorrow morning. By the time I find out.
Bedroom communities, sort of suburbs of Lansing with black voters. How does that look? Does that happen? And how does that look in a place like Genesee County? Her formula for victory absolutely depends on it. We got nothing there that we can really show you right now. We don't have much in Saginaw either, where it's a bit of the same story. The counties are, there is a substantial black population there as well. All of these sort of questions that we're seeing here, with the way Stevens has done as these votes have evolved, have raised the question, if she can do this, if she can do that, if she gets a big, all of that is coming around to, if she can answer yes to all those questions, then what she would need on top of everything else out of Wayne County would be big numbers. And I think specifically from Detroit, where the population is overwhelmingly black, and where we have a very small amount of vote right now. What you're looking at, as a matter of fact, in Wayne, you see 4% in, that's just about 12,000 votes counted. One thing we just got in Wayne was an update from the city of Dearborn. Dearborn is the first majority Arab American city in the United States. It's a place where Al Sayed won huge in 2018. He lost the primary statewide for governor in 2018 to Gretchen Whitmer, but he won
when they
big
mention
in
like
Dearborn.
the black voting
so
bloc
we just got votes
and that Stevens
from
needs
Dearborn,
it.
Place where we knew he's going to do
It is
well,
really
and those
interesting
votes are
how
election
during
day
this
votes. That's the
campaign
type of vote he's been doing
she
particularly well with.
maliciously
That's not all of
lied
this, but that's part of the mix
that
you're looking at here.
Obama
It's
endorsed
outside
her for this
friendly.
campaign. They're figuring the Democratic Party. He's down with her then. And a lot of those voters found out later on that was not the case.
But
they were not
there's
happy.
a lot of conditionals in that. And if they all kind of come to
interesting
fruition
move from her
for
campaign.
Outside of Wayne, it
Just
will come
lie
down
a shit
to
ton
Wayne
and see if it
to
sticks.
Detroit. And again, I say, like, the fact that we're sitting here at 10 o'clock Eastern
Yeah.
and we got 4% in Wayne, this is par for the course for Wayne County.
Yeah.
But and to that point, what I hear you saying is we may be in for a fairly long night, Steve, right? I mean, if that's what it's going to come down to.
Okay. We have a minute. Okay, so we have, top of the hour. We're going to do another, I'm on this one now. Hi, folks. Top of the hour, we're going to do another update for the news now, folks. I see one. Okay, that's the poll close countdown to Washington. We haven't even mentioned Washington yet. In an hour, the polls are going to close there. The vote by mail, this is a state, it's like Colorado, it's like California. It's largely vote by mail. They get a ton of it counted up ahead of time. They just press send, basically, as the polls close or close to it. So between 11 and 11:30, 11:45, a ton of vote to come in Washington. Some congressional primaries there. We'll get to them that are pretty interesting. That's going to happen in an hour from now. I'm telling you this now because I'm not sure between now and then how many chances I'll have. So we've got that. They're going to come to me. The clock just disappeared. I'll look at this one. They're going to come to me in a minute. And what I'm going to do is my producer has put another note together. I'm not going to let you see the notes. Maybe at the end of the night, I'll let you see the notes. But he's put another note for me. And while I read the note, I'm going to drink water, except I don't. Is there any more water in here? All right, we can get a little bit more. Oh, okay, so we have a few.
Damn.
Sorry, I just don't want to. We have to tend to this computer so it doesn't.
Or just dumped water
Catch on
all
fire.
over his computer.
There's tissues here.
Damn, bro.
Yes, Iodia.
Okay. See how much went into that paper? Okay.
And if he's
All
doing
right,
well
Ionia County
in
here.
Wayne County,
it's right around Lansing. Here we go. Okay.
then I have
we
a lot
got
of confidence in,
basically
El
complete.
Sayed
And
in the same county.
Fortunately, I have my friend.
Of course, there's only 5% of the vote.
Benchmarks that did not go away. So what do we got in Ionia County for benchmarks? Okay, again, we're using progressive lane. We're using the establishment lane right here. This was 60 for Whitmer. Again, this is that outlier zone for Whitmer where she did so well. It was 52 was the Biden 2020 number, and 34 was the Clinton 16 number. In Ionia County, he wasn't barely winning Michigan. I mean, he won Michigan big because it was a divided field, but his percent, he got 53% statewide, right? So when I said she had the home field advantage, she really had it there. So a mix of vote type.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so, what are we talking about? Sorry. Okay, we're doing a Michigan hit in how long? Okay, folks, we're going to do another Michigan hit in a minute.
We do have another update out of Oakland as well.
Yeah.
We got another 11,000 votes there.
Yeah.
Stevens wins this most recent batch 51-46.
Okay, and again, this continues to be like a mix, huh?
I think this continues to be a mix. We have a little bit less transparency into what's going on in Oakland in our system here, so it's a little bit rougher.
Okay, so we're going to go do this hit here in a second. I'll stop talking, but we're now inching up, past a quarter of the vote. Stevens has got this down to, you've seen the statewide margin, 8, 7, 6.5. It's sitting at 6 right now. Again, there's a lot.
I'm just saying the vote's gotten farther and farther away from her. Like, the more they've counted, the bigger the gap has gotten. I know we haven't gotten a lot of Wayne County, but I've already said I think that area will still dump a lot of votes into his pocket, considering his history there and whatnot. And I'd say the fact that he's 23,000 ahead and that number has only gotten higher as the vote's been counted, I would say it's looking pretty good for El Sayed. So, with that being said,
6.5, it was 6. It's 5.9 right now when you're looking at this. And a lot of counties gave us election day vote right away, and it gave Al Sayed a really running start in this thing. And then what's been coming in much more slowly and in trickles in a lot of cases has been more vote by mail, which again has been overwhelming for Stevens. And so I'll give you an example here. It's a relatively small county here.
which is hilarious
you're about
because
40
the
miles
gap
outside.
in the votes between the two has only gotten larger in favor of him. So that's why I'm like, I think I can call it as I see it. I think we're pretty locked in viewing the electoral map where you go county by county, because we see in Georgia it doesn't fucking matter if you go county by county. You could have the whole map one color and just have certain areas another color, and those areas determine the whole race. So I think
I don't think it's good to pay attention to these small ass counties that are reporting in completely, and she's up by like like not even 100, like 20 votes in those counties, like what he's showing right now in Lucy County, or however you say that. I don't know how to say that, but it's like 201 to 174, 95% of the vote in. Like, so what? It's one of 2 counties in the Upper Peninsula that are shaded for her. The rest of the counties that have shaded in so far are in favor of El Sayed. But those are all like just a few hundred votes per county. Michigan's a mixed bag right now in colors, but there's a 23,000 vote difference. And he can do the math all he wants. But there's still that big gap between the two. And they've got another 1 million votes to count, but we're past the quarter of the way mark. You know, McMorrow will probably end up with about 45,000 votes by the end of So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. With that is all for today for Forbidden FM. That's the second Forbidden FM we've done this year. Pretty nice. I'm not going to do one next week for Wisconsin. I'll just talk about it on the next episode. But yeah, the Wisconsin primary is next week on August 11th. Francesca Hong is polling really well for the governor race on the Democratic ticket. And I'm looking forward to seeing how her race turns out and if she will be able to pull a win out in the general. And hopefully we got some good news after tonight in the Michigan race. It looked like when I last looked that the DSA candidate is still doing pretty well. Let's check in on his race before I go. McKinney, it's only 7% of the vote in, unfortunately. But he's still leading by almost 60% of the vote, so we'll see. Looks like Rashida Tlaib took her race. Got the whistle in my teeth, sorry. Rashida Tlaib took her race with 64% of the vote projected. She's well ahead of the other 2 candidates at this point. And that's what I'm saying. She's the other half of Wayne County. The guy I was just talking about, she usually ends up being about a day or 2 early. Although it's not something I advertise because it's not always the case. You can get our old catalog of bonus episodes. If enough people start supporting, I will make more. I just don't want to talk for an hour and then nobody watch it. But yeah. If you want to listen to this podcast audio only, you can go to Apple Pen. Thanks for watching our election coverage for the Michigan primary. And I'll see y'all on Friday for the main episode, which I have no idea what that episode's going to be about. Let me get a little preview. We're going to be talking about a lot of DSA related things. So there's the Fox News interview with Francesca Hong and the Fox News interview with Oliver Larkin, who's running for Florida's 25th district, Miami. And the little comment he made on Fox News that has been hitting the market pretty hard. And yeah, we'll be talking about Francesca Hong, like the boss that she is, just doubling down and really hammering her values hard on Fox News and not backing down. So that's what we'll be talking about on Friday, with more stuff as well. There's some news that I'll probably talk about. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been Forbidden FM. Peace.